Hey there team, welcome back to Silmarillion, Total War. So this was actually the first siege I'd actually played on Silmarillion. Fingers crossed I get a few more of them done, and maybe you've seen a few of them, fingers crossed. But, again, fingers crossed. So this should be about early February, maybe? The dream is to get recordings done all the way until the end of March, scheduled out in this one video a week's system. If I have been successful in doing that, which, let's say fingers crossed I have, goodness, why am I saying that over and over again? Then I should start to slam in the occasional midweek video as well. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, playing as the Wretches here, playing as the Wretches, playing as Angband. Here, so we have a nice, it was a pretty nice little 3v2 siege of this. I've seen this map before. I don't know if I've played on it before. There has been some changes, I think, though, to the last time I saw it, but definitely a tricky map for two players to hold. There's, one, two, we'll say three. There's two entrances, but really three. There's four entrances to come in, but this one gets a little bit quirky. You'll see as the fight goes on. There's some hilarity there with one final fallback point here. So I felt this was my first siege back. Still pretty, getting to grips with Silmarillion. Playing this while I was still doing the, that week-long Silmarillion 1v1 fest that I was doing. So it's would stick to something I kind of knew, something I knew was pretty reliable and safe. And I think Angband is quite a good choice for that. As I say, good numbers, pretty cost-effective armor across the board, pretty damn good armor actually across some of their units. And so I just felt, yeah, let's do this, let's stick with it. So I've got my Arbalists, 2 units of Thralls. Let's see, up front I've actually got 3 units of Wretches there, and I believe I've actually given my Wretches an armor upgrade, to just give them a little bit more staying power, a little bit more sustainability. Then the Spear Guard, behind them, Spear Guard of the Iron Crown, something that doesn't really need an armor upgrade, very, very sturdy. Legionnaires there. I've not actually given my Legionnaires an armor upgrade today. They are just the bog standard Legionnaires, just to, jump in there, commit to the grind. Behind them, some Ravagers as well. Wanted to get some AP, wanted to get those Ravagers used. And as I say, unlike me, no armor upgrades for the boys. I kind of wanted to go heavier numbers. The only guys that have armor upgrades are my Halberdiers, which, of course, if you know me, phalanxes, I will always do my absolute best to make sure that my phalanx units are as good as they can be, especially for sieges, Lord, and if these guys don't have a shield value, they're only relying on that armor, so yeah, pack them up, absolutely pack them up. Then Troll Guard of Gothmog in the back, with the Bulldogs of Angband. I'd actually given these guys double armor upgrades, so they are heavy investments in the Bulldogs today. Grabbing the Scourges of Gothmog as well. I had never used the Scourges up until this point, so I was quite excited about that, but the guys were saying, yeah, no, Scourges, get them in melee, they'll tear stuff up. And then the Tormentors of the Iron Crown in the back for that bit of AP, that sort of just solid man-at-arms ability, staying power, really. First ally here is an elf, is Feanor, the House of Feanor, which I usually, I think the House of Feanor can dabble into the evil side of things, definitely willing to look past our orcish demeanour to serve their goals. So he's got his company of mounted company of Himring. 2 of them there, that they're Javcav? Yeah, Javcav. Have they received an armor upgrade? Maybe looks like it. I don't know what their standard model looks like. Anyway, the Huntsmen of Thargelion up front, behind them these Archers of Himring, which again I'm sure they've received an armor upgrade. Shield Bearers of Heravorn, just to provide a bit of numbers, a bit of that human staying power, that human sort of jab with their spears. Stalkers of Thargelion behind them, with these Rangers of Helavorn behind them. So yeah, a lot of humans brought by Feanor today, but again on the siege attack, that's kind of what you would expect. These Defenders of Aglon? Yeah, Defenders of Aglon, Footmen of Himring, Defenders of Aglon on the side, and then back here we've got the Oturn Maitimo, which again I need to sort of practice sort of seeing where people have and haven't received armor upgrades. We do have a bit of a grace, but let me just stick to 0.4 0.4 for now. No, 0.5, because until I get round the attacking factions. Then we've got Tundris with a very interesting army today. He has just gone heavy numbers with his Ulfang forces. All of these Eastron tribesmen, as I say, I used to think these guys were spears, but no, they are falxmen. They have a brutal charge value. For their cost, they've got an amazing charge value, and they do actually have an anti-cavalry bonus. That's why I thought they were spearmen back in the day. But you can see just the amount of them that he's got. Yeah, and I mean, hell, once they are actually in melee, they can do some damage. The Ravagers of Hemmering behind them, once again, a solid swarm of them. Some of these trees appearing and disappearing. I see that doesn't happen for us when we're generally playing, but just when I've got the settings turned up pretty damn high, they seem to get a little bit embarrassed maybe by how good they look. Then the Eastron Marauders there with their little throwing axes behind them. More of these Eastron tribesmen. And then in the far back, some Marauders of Hemmering. So, you may have spotted there was no 2 hit point units there. Yeah, Tundris has gone, as I say, heavy into his just lower to mid line. So he's going to bring the numbers, he's going to bring this, and he's going to bring the numbers, and he's going to bring the javelins. He does have these despoilers of Dorcarthur. Despoilers, I'll probably just be rattling out of them. Is that where we have the general today? Is this the general? I think that is the general of the Ulfang forces. Anyway, yeah, we'll stay at 1 times speed now, because the defenders are going to be shuffling around. There is a bit of a grace, I'm pretty damn sure, as Stewie comes running over pretty damn close to the main line. The first of the defenders today is Panthan. So he has his Blades of Barad Ithil. Again, I adore those shields for the boys, they look great. And his ally, no, that's still more of his forces for now. He's playing as the House of Fingolfin, so he's got his Dragon Guard of Dorloman. The Sentries of Hithlum here. Great to have a phalanx when you're on the defense, of course. More Bladesmen of Barad Ithil. We will pass over this again before the fighting actually starts, but I'll just be calling out anything sort of crazy out of the ordinary. Again, seems to be sort of guarding his positions with this phalanx, the Bladesmen mixed in with these sentries. So yeah, definitely quite a nice stern line. And again, he's got this position as well with his sentries and fjordsmen. Looks like, yeah, fjordsmen of Dorloman, who are humans, right? Or maybe I'm mistaken. Yeah, I thought that the fjordsmen are humans, but either way, humans on both sides. The only thing, I'm the only orc on the field today. More sentries of Hithlum there. More herdsmen. Where is your ally here today? Where? Panthan. Ah, there he is, Gervais. So yeah, of course, Rex is on the field today. The legend of Silmarilion. Certainly one of the finest of the mods players. Dear me. So we got the Tyr in less Dan there, and generally just a what you'd expect from a Doriath line. Nothing too wild out of the ordinary. A lot of these warriors of Region going to be cracking into my armor. Bit nasty to be sure, but lacking that shield. Should be, even my thralls are going to be able to get some good damage against them. Sword hosts of Region there. Shield bearers of Region too. But you can see Gervais is actually playing this pretty aggressive at the start. And he is deciding not to defend the choke points themselves. He's actually come out with 2 of these Wardens of the Girdle. Over here as well some... Oh, thought I crashed for a second. No, my mouse just decided to stop. Rangers of the Girdle too. So lots of these missile forces. Wardens, are they Javs? Oh, no, they're down as light infantry, but they have bows. Interesting. They must not have too much ammunition then. But anyway, yep, spreading my boys out. Generally looks like I'm going to be coming in from this side and trying to maybe come around behind. At first, I thought I was by myself, but Stewie has moved some of his boys around. So we're going to be coming in together here, really try and punish Gervais for this little outer defense, try and make sure he doesn't really get as much use out of it as he was hoping. So we are actually cracking right into that now. We don't have very much of a grace. Wardens of the Girdle opening up on us here. That must be an armor upgrade then. Or is that how they normally look? Interesting. Either way, he's opening up into my wretches. He's going actually into my thralls, which, again, I'm not too worried about. This is why I bring these low-tier archers. They're there to soak up fire. As an orc, as a powerful Angband orc, I'm expecting to do my damage with my melee. You know, my halberds in there, even my legionnaires maybe a little bit. My archers, not so much. They're there to soak up fire. So I saw this happening. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, and totally. I would prefer you're blasting me rather than my powerful elven allies along the way. If I could go back, I would have probably gone for to make the theme a little bit more solid, I would have probably chosen the other Easterling army. What is it called again? The Golden Boys. I can't remember what they are. The House of Boar. Yeah, not the House of Ulfang. Because that would have been like two Easterling factions, and then the House of Feanor would have been quite a nice mix. But I don't think the theme is totally broken here. As I say, I think Feanor can kind of mix it up with both sides, just because, as I say, they're serving their own interests a lot. Lots of firepower coming into the Mounted Company of Himring, but this is something that was absolutely shocking to me, and to a few of the players, is just how sturdy this cavalry unit is. Of course, Stewie's paid for that. He's gotten that heavy armor on them. He's given them an armor upgrade for that, but the amount of firepower that those guys just soaked up, and for the few casualties, it's amazing. Now, they do have a shield value as well, and it's quite a nice large shield, so maybe it's decent enough. But anyway, Gervais just wanted to have a little skirmish with us, inflicted a lot of casualties on my boys, but again, I'm not too worried about that. I picked away at him too. I actually opened up on his wardens a little bit, scared them off, and but you can just see the wave of orc corpses there is a bit nasty. Over on this end, I was trying to get my wretches up in front of Stewie's. Even humans, when I'm playing as an orc faction alongside a human or an elf, I will normally always try and make sure that the enemy is killing off my guys before he's killing off yours. And especially when you've got something like the wretches, that's what they're there for. This big 250-man unit, I'd rather it takes a beating, even if the shield bearers of Herivon are quite good at that sort of thing. Over here, Tundras is advancing as well. He's got two avenues to approach, and he's going to be coming in to both of them, I think, by himself, at least for the start. Stewie is sort of splitting himself, not so much in half, but he's sending over a few troops my way, and then he's got this avenue, which is quite nasty, but at least with these buildings here, the enemy can't shoot you in the back, so thank goodness for that. Because that would make this passageway absolutely devastating if the enemy could just be firing arrows at you, ignoring your shield the whole way. And over here, it's going to be primarily me coming in, but again with a bit of Stewie assistance. Right now, this mounted company is still soaking up fire, still just getting their javelins spent here, there, and everywhere. I'm trying to get my wretches forward, not so much to catch the Doriath forces from Gervais, but wanting to make sure that these areas are blocked up tight, so that if there's any little tricks that the elves want to play, we can limit that or stop it entirely. So although I would view this as sort of one choke point, in reality it's two, because you can advance up here willy-nilly and come in again through the main area. So I'm gonna have to treat this as two areas, even though they are right next to each other. Again, Stewie punishing Gervais for this sort of aggressive defense that he's gone for, coming in for a few little charges there on these routing wardens of the girdle. I'm trying to get my wretches coming in. I'm doing my best to try and support Stewie, trying to make sure we punish Gervais, but I'm just a little slow behind, and it really is just the wretches right now. Got my thralls moving up, trying to get the whole rest of my army advancing. But I was really set up for a bit of a longer grind against Gervais, but he was able to pull out there really quite quickly. More firepower coming into the backs of those Mounted Company of Himring. And by the likes of the Marksmen of Region as well, so that's a high damage arrow. You are seeing a few of them getting dropped, but now they're turning around to face the enemy with their shields, but still getting shot from the other side too. So anything that I push down this avenue is gonna have to be taking shots from up on this ridge. But I do have archers myself, and I've got crossbowmen myself too, so I'm going to be trying to counter that, trying to get some shots into the likes of these Cthulhu. Yep, Cuthalum, not Cthulhu. Over here, Wretches of Angband still taking hits, and you can see that they're basically by themselves over here. Kind of trusting in just the fact that the enemy is not going to lash out at me, but Gervais is going to catch me here, which is smart thinking. Get these boys out, try and get a break. I know it's not a very expensive unit, but if I end up with a big unit of 228 Wretches of Angband just getting broken like this, it's a nuisance. It's a nuisance, to be sure. Getting a little counter charge there, and I'm just kind of hoping that because I outnumber him over 2 to 1 there, we're going to be able to do some damage to these wardens. But you can see I do realise just how kind of dicey a position these wretches are in. Even though it says victory is certain right now, we are inflicting some casualties there on the wardens, and we have gotten them running. Again, maybe just because I've given them that little armour upgrade, they're a little bit more sturdy than they would be otherwise, or, you know, as I say, the wardens are not sort of, they're more of a hybrid unit, not fully dedicated melee. But you can see Gervais has once again sort of been caught by the speedy forces. Tundra's tiring his men out by trying to get here in time, but it's going to allow him to deal some nasty damage to Gervais. Let me slow down slightly. Gervais, oh, I like that. Yeah, just sort of blocking this up to make sure that his boys do manage to escape. Panthan came down to support a little bit, but once again, I could be a lot more punishing here, but I just wasn't quite ready for this push. So we're trying to get in there, but once again, it's just the wretches and the thralls. Got my thralls over here just firing into these guys on the ridgeline. Getting some decent shots in there. And for the likes of the wardens again, more than happy to be blasting something like that. I've got my wretches up here, just sort of staring down this line. And got my other wretches here blocking up this position. And again, this is nice from Stewie, usually. Yeah, so this is all he's really sent my way for now. Still got that cav helping me out, of course, too. This is what I usually would recommend if you're sending something over to assist your ally. You should be the one that's up front. You should take the losses first, so that your ally is saving his manpower, and then he's able to, you know, you're able to fully focus on your position after that. If he had his shield bearers like hiding here, he's got to wait for the perfect opportunity to use them, but they're at the front right now. So when they die, Stewie will be able to fully focus on this position. Leading the way are his stalkers, rangers, and actually his Otorn are in there. So yeah, he's leading the way with sort of the best, which he's going to probably need up against that pike line. The sentries mixed in with the swordsman, sorry, bladesman, will not be an easy fight for them. And, okay, cool, he does actually have some forces over here supporting Ulfang as well. Really, Stewie sort of spreading out through all 3 of those choke points. They're getting a good javelin volley on the backs of the Dragon Guard there. That was a nice catch as they pulled back. A few of them are getting back up, but still, that's a good bit of damage on those poor guys. But either way, just get these human javelins thrown, and then Ulfang can come flying in, who again are human, but they can come flying in after. So we pushed up, we managed to get a few little catches here. You are seeing some dead elves. So we did punish Rex a little bit more. You can see right now, percentage-wise, pretty close, which is always well, actually we're ahead, which is always a good position to be as an attacker. It's always very scary as a defender to ever be, you know, behind percentage-wise. But as I say, once again, you know, this is Rex here. It's quite easy to get him stressed out. He's still cool as a cucumber, I am sure. So set up here, we've got Panthan, who's going to be getting, you know, ooh. We've got, oh, shoot, there are still some even more elves out here, which we've just got totally surrounded there. Just got my trolls coming in to rip them up, get those boys smashed down. And I decide, yeah, like, to get stuck in here. a bit of wild energy, I guess, which I really should just hold back, try and let Tundras use his ammunition a little bit more, and then come in. Ooh. That sounded nasty. Okay, some catapult fire. I got very lucky that a troll didn't catch one of those balls of fire. That was just, yeah, absolute luck for me. Got my iron shod arbalists over here, which I am keen to get some shots into those Cuthalam. So I've got them set up, trying to give them a target, trying to make them shoot. So they're saying they're reloading, but they're just chilling, they're vibing today. I really, really struggled. Like, I felt that would be a perfect shot, but they just weren't able to get it. Tried to move them a little bit closer after, but yeah, I was focused on other things, so I couldn't really babysit them. You can see I'm trying to sort of adjust their position now. But I was just like, you know, it was green, they were able to target it, but they just weren't going for it. Because I really was just like, if I could get even 2 good volleys into those Cuthalam, because those are 2 hit points, great units, unshielded, so it would have been really nice to rattle them down. Let's zoom in the minimap just a bit. So you can see I've got, again, doing my sort of typical very, very dense line. You know, I really sometimes pack on a few too many troops or don't really spread them out as much as I should before making connection. Right now, it's not too bad for us. You know, the wretches are, of course, they're there to die. And alongside these shield bearers, we're just still at the early grinding stage. But then the tormentors are going to make their way forward, and hopefully that's going to be a bit nasty for them. Wretches of Angband over here, having a lot more fun up against the shield bearers. And when I've got my tormentors arriving now too, it should be pretty good. Now this is where, again, I should probably show a bit more aggression. Get my tormentors into shield wall and just bust this open. Or even, I wouldn't even have to use a shield wall. I could slam them through that gap. That could probably be a good idea. These marksmen of Region here, luckily out of ammunition from Gervais, because that would be pretty nasty shots onto my side. Just positioning your archers here to rattle into me would be very, very unpleasant. But already moving forward some halberds. If I can get these halberds stretched out along the line, that's something that Doriath will not really be able to counter easily. Not without trying to shoot them, or, as I say, use ammunition on them in some way. You know, so if I can just rely on the grind, then that's pretty good. Again, over here, got my trolls getting thrown on in. I kind of felt that up against the bladesmen and these fjordsmen, and the sentries too, the trolls should do all right. But I've sort of left them in a bit of a fire and forget situation. I really think those trolls do so much better if they're fighting around your own men, so that they don't get fully surrounded like you're seeing some of these poor guys have been. Some of those poor trolls are sort of fighting a few too many elves at once, which is spilling a little bit of disaster for them. Let's get a shot of you, my man. Oh, come on, turn around again. Yeah. Oh, come on, we had a good. Oh, there we go. Don't know if I quite caught that at the perfect moment, but we'll see. Anyway, got my spear guard there. Once again, not really trying to break through. Ooh, a few little frame stutters there. A lot of death going around in some part of the map. But yeah, I'm maybe not wanting to burst through right now, because like right now this fight is sort of okay for us. Like, it's not going amazing, but it's going okay. We're getting some good kills over here. Again, we're ahead, not by much still, but we are ahead. So just happy enough for the grind right now. Over here, Stewie making contact. Sort of these human followers of the Elves of Feanor, slicing and dicing with the Elves of Doriath and Fingolfin. So it is a mixed defense over on this position. And doing all right, those Rangers of Hellevorn. Yes, certainly able to go toe-to-toe with a few nasty units. But the Otorn being thrown in so early like this is quite nice. I'm always a big fan of using elite units like that. As long as there's not an enemy unit to shoot them down, I think it's great to have those heavy bodyguard units involved at quite an early stage. And yeah, we're seeing Stewie getting some good work with them. Problem is, that's all that Stewie really has on this position. He's got some mounted company coming back, but being the lesser numbers off the field today, he's come in pretty damn early into all of these positions. So we need to make sure our elven boy is going to be okay. And again, he's got his defenders of Aglon. Now you can see we didn't actually breach through there. They've run up this passageway. So this is actually, you know, smooth enough for a unit to come flying up. I didn't know that at the time, but luckily Stewie has pointed that out to me and provided me some assistance here up against these axe guard. Unfortunately, these javelin throwers or axe throwers, what are they actually? They are throwing axes, but that's a very interesting little projectile, isn't it? Very cool. It's like a high mass, those high mass green axes there causing havoc. You can see over here, with the lack of dead Cathalim, I've not been able to get my my crossbows opening up into them, unfortunately. And again, we're peeling further and further ahead. Got my arbalists moving on over here. They've been rinsed by fire, as you can tell. They have they've definitely gone through a bit of punishment, but they're still kicking. My thralls trying to find targets back. Am I shooting straight forward or am I shooting up? Don't you dare shoot up, boys. Good stuff. Okay, I'm shooting straight forward into these shield bearers. Right now, shooting a lot of them in the back. If those shield bearers, yeah, okay, now they're properly set up now. Even in shield wall, where I won't really be missing too many shots, I still don't want to do that. I don't want to pour my ammunition into that. It's not really going to be too worthwhile. And I still keep doing it. Dear me, Windy Pops. You can see the front line is very haggard now for the elves, as we're still grinding in. My spear guard, the Iron Crown, not going anywhere. More than happy to keep that grind on for some time. That is a general. That must have been the general in with the O-turn, my Teemo. So Feanor's general has fallen. Most of the elves, especially Feanor elves, they're not going to really care about that. Feanor elves being some of the best in combat anyway. Other feats, you know, elves do climb higher than them, but no, they ain't going to be running from this. Again, that pause with just me taking a gulp of tea. And the rangers from Stewie still getting those javelins in, so that's quite nice. Oh, I think a sneeze is maybe incoming. Well, yeah, so I'll... Oh god, they look great there. They are quick. Oh, here it is. Hey, snow! Hopefully the microphone didn't pick that up, but it probably did. That was quite a loud one. I did manage to run away for a second. Over here, still got the grind. The halberds are kind of allowing me to go toe-to-toe with this. You're seeing it's jumping back and forth. We were saying defeat, then they were saying defeat, now they're saying victory. It's not perfect, but I mean that's never what you're going to get in an orcish attack. It's always going to be a back and forth. Defenders of Aglon here, still taking some fire. A little bit of friendly fire from me. I'm shooting them in the back with my thralls a little bit. Kind of need to avoid that. But yeah, still just happy with the grind as is. As I say, I wasn't really as focused on absolutely breaching these lines. I just wanted to make sure that my men were getting fights, that we were inflicting casualties on the elves. You know, that was something I was happy enough with at that time. Defenders of Aglon here, you're seeing these ranges of the girdle actually got around. Now that's going to be a great shot for my men to try and blast them in the back. Defenders of Aglon though, as good as they may be, getting attacked from both sides is not fun for anybody. Even with a little bit of thrall fire support, I need to change my target to these ranges of the girdle, or I really should try and get my Tormentors of the Iron Crown to come over here and smash them. I don't really have... All I've got now in reserve are my Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs are running on in, so we will watch them in a second. I just want to have a quick check to see what I'm doing on over here. Still got my Thralls, got my Arbalists, just trying to find a target. Got my Halberdiers arriving now too, so once they get stuck in, we'll have a bit more rigidity to this line. We'll be able to sort of go toe-to-toe with Panthan's phalanx there, and 37 for 45. So it's a very nice position for us attackers to be in. I was very chuffed to see that. Defenders of Aglon there just broken, fighting to the death. Hopefully the lads get a kill or two, but most likely not. Range of the girdle after a good bit of fire there, charging straight at me. But by the time they arrive, hopefully very low in numbers, pretty scared, so that even my my thralls... Oh! Shoot, they did actually just run out of ammunition in the nick of time there to get their axes out, and we've gotten a little counter charge there. And as nice as the Rangers of the Girdle may be, Gervais was actually really quite impressed with his Rangers and how they performed, and I definitely get that. And you'll see just how long they stay standing in this fight, outnumbered so much. But at least we got that counter charge, and we outnumber them so much, we should be perfectly fine. So, got my Bulldogs coming in. Boom! Okay, I thought it was better than that. The next one's worse. Boom! See, so just about every single one of my Bulldogs, yeah, it's what, like 4 guys, didn't get knocked down from those volleys. So that's a good bit of damage onto my Bulldogs straight away, and, you know, I said how much I'd invested in them. That's another hit, luckily not as devastating, but I just need to get in the fight, need to get into melee, because that was 2 levels of armor upgrades for my Bulldogs. I really need them to do some work. Now the Bulldogs, They don't have armor piercing. They used to, but I don't think they've got armor piercing anymore. They're going to come in. They're going to do some good work. They're going to try their best, but they're not this devastating melee unit. They're a grinding unit. But once again, that's all I'm about right now. That's all I'm really about in this fight, is just grinding these elves down. You're seeing the casualty differences. You're seeing that at this time, this strategy is serving us pretty well, just with this hacking and slashing, defeating these elven units. So I was more than happy, and you're seeing now victory is certain on the right, balanced on the middle, defeat is certain on the left, but hopefully those halberds are able to correct that soon. Still got some archers of Hemring, so we still do have some of these elves supporting us. Over here, still, oh god, it's very messy. You can see, unfortunately, my halberds got absolutely toasted by the sentries of Hithlum. But that is allowing Tundris a good avenue, and it's allowing even me a chance to pour some arrows in, pour some bolts into. What are we going for right now? We're finding a nice target there, Wendy Pops. Don't shoot straight up. Okay, no, we're not shooting straight up. Are we going back into these bladesmen? Oh, it's the catapult crew. Okay, cool. I mean, either way, the catapult crew are the bladesmen. So if I could get some shots on their back, might have been left side, but I hope it was the back, then I'm okay with that. Try and whittle those numbers down just a little bit. Try and limit the effectiveness of that catapult in the end stage of the fight too, of course. Those thralls, they're still fighting that ranger. Now, of course, they're out of ammunition. There's not really much I could do with those thralls, but I could have maybe run them around the flank there, gotten a little bit of rear attacks to those Lastanen, which don't know how much that would have done, but it would have been a bit helpful. Again, Bulldogs still just committing to the grind. As sturdy as those guys are, you have to keep in mind just that, well, in every single one of them, apart from 4, at most, 4, have taken at least 1 axe. So that's a lot of damage to them. I wouldn't say a hit point damage, of course, but that's a lot of them just a little bit worn down by that. So even up against this sort of midline or sort of superior midline forces from Gervais, it's going to be a bit nasty. And you're seeing, because I don't have anything more in reserve. Oh, those strolls do actually have ammunition. Okay. Try and get some shots into these new wardens that are arriving. Try and get them blasted down, because they are just going to be flanking around my line. And if there's anything that we've learned about Angband, it is that morale can be your killer. I've still got my general. My general's alive. He's right in the thick of it. That's and you better believe he's blowing his horn at every opportunity he can to rally these boys. Over on this right side, my Ravagers are thrown on in there, just trying to slice and dice these elves as best I can. Let's just continue this sort of clockwise formation. Check out how the elves are doing. How are those Otorn? Those Otorn are still at 35. They've been fighting for ages now, and they're still at 35. So you can see how stubborn those elves can be. Quick little backstab though by the Sons of Hurin and the Irimo, the Arantar as well. Yep. So they are coming flooding on into the right. That's going to be a bit scary. Otor might be able to sort of go toe-to-toe with a few of those, but that's definitely a nasty arrival for what Stewie's got going on here. Percentage-wise, we're over 10% ahead still, as these Eastron Foragers are colliding with the Bladesmen there, almost busting through that line, and you're seeing just how dense that is right now for Tundris. Over here, we've managed to get a breach, we've got a breach, but the defensive line has not entirely fallen apart yet. But that's probably a good thing for us. We don't want it to fall apart. We want the Eastron to come flooding forward and surround that front line, hack away at them, wipe them out in this position. And that's exactly what Tundris is trying to do now. Get this swallowed up while my thralls, out of ammunition thralls, are hurtling on in there. Still got my arbalists. Don't quite know what I'm shooting at right now. This looks like it's maybe just going to be a straight up and over shot. Maybe. That was a cancelled shot. That was a cancelled shot, yeah. Don't really think I had a decent target for them, so I cancelled that one. Anyway, this should be a pretty cost-effective sort of wipeout for us, surrounding that phalanx from all sides there. Sure, by just tribesmen, but, you know, and thralls, but that should be quite a nice cost-effective takedown. So we're pushing through very nicely on 2 of the positions. Oh. Oh, dearie me. That was nasty, but that was actually a lot of friendly fire too. And that was the final straw to break. Well, that wasn't quite a straw, that was something else. But that has broken those sentries. Maybe they could have held out a little bit longer, but no, that got them out of there. So I don't really blame them for that, as everybody else comes rushing up now. So Tundris is in fully. I've got a handful of my boys there to support him. Over here, you can see this push is just about entirely wiped out, especially with the Doriath, Mablung have arrived now, so we're basically wiped here. Still got my bulldogs. Hopefully my bulldogs do a little bit more killing, but that will be us here. So even though we've not breached through, this would have been the nicest place to have breached through, because it's right there. So that's why they pushed out against me. That's why you know, Gervais is sort of wanted to crush me in this position, just to make sure that he's got a safe retreat for everybody else. Over here as well, yet you're seeing these forces. That's my general drop there, but as I say, everything over in that position was basically gone apart from the bulldogs. So a few rear guard actions by these brave Doriath forces, these Axe Guard of Region, going to be trying to hold back all of these Eastron. Wouldn't be too bad if they could limit the attacks to the front, but those Eastron tribesmen and mounted company of Himring still active. Yeah, that's them broken and fighting to the death now. So Tundris is free, and again, Tundris is free with a lot of forces. Once again, you know, we vastly outnumber the enemy here, as they've got the Cathalum, or Cathalum. I've done 3 different pronunciations today. The Cathalum are holding the line there. We need to blast those guys down, because they will happily slice and dice their way through an awful lot of these Eastron tribesmen. As much as these Eastron tribesmen have a great charge value, they don't have amazing melee stats. So after that charge is done, they are going to get sliced up quite quickly by the Cathalum. Now I've still got my thralls, I've still got my crossbows, my thralls are out of ammunition, and I also have a few scourges. We didn't actually look at the scourges at all. Scourges did actually receive a nasty volley from the Cathalum earlier in the fight, so more than happy to see them go toe-to-toe with them again. Maybe I should be forcing them a little bit more through this line. Try and take the heat for try and get through those Eastron tribesmen. Thralls are actually, they've still got a little bit of ammunition. Maybe I just tried to use them in melee to break through, but that's them out of ammunition now. Again, sort of a heroic rear guard action there from these elves, just to make sure that their forces do manage to retreat. Over here, maybe, oh no, we just came in for the celebration at the end. I really love the shields of the Lastanin. They look absolutely gorgeous. And there, the helmets are super. But yeah, so that is that position wiped out now, as Gervais can pull back. Again, Panthan's got some heroic final stand defenders here, trying to hold back these tribesmen. Looks like those tribesmen didn't actually get off a charge. Quick little catapult blast. Lucky miss for the first one, very lucky miss for the second one. Lucky on our side, of course. As those marauders come rushing on in, we can try and push around the side. Yep, again, Tundris knows what he's doing. He knows that you can get around things. You don't have to fight everything when he pops, you know. But still, this clash is continuing, and I just don't really. What I should have done straight away with my arbalists is just got them set up here, but I just didn't really view that as an option at that time. Trying to get my crossbows just to go. What was I going for? I think I was going for something back here, like I was shooting the marksmen and some of these Sons of Hurin and so on. I was shooting, as I say, like up and over that slope is what I was trying to do. As Tundris is forming, and Stewie's still got some huntsmen of Thargelion, and this is where it comes in, because yeah, I see Stewie taking that position, and I realise, oh shoot, that's a really good shot. And so I will come over and join him shortly. Scourges of Gothmog, I do end up getting them thrown on into the fight, so they're much more online with these elves, and still, while we're fighting side by side with these marauders of Himring, just to take a little bit of the flak for us, my scourges should do some great work. And yeah, they already are. You can see, although defeat seems certain there, they're doing just fine. and inflicting some casualties. It takes a little while for those statuses to like update, and you can't fully trust them sometimes. But yeah, so we're pulling back some marksmen. Again, these marksmen, they were pulled back to try and deal with the huntsman of Thargelion there. Shots coming up and over. Again, into the backs of those warriors, very nice, or any part of those warriors be a great little target. But Gervais does not want that, so he's sending his marksmen of Region around to try and sort out those huntsmen. So I see those marksmen coming, so I start to pour my crossbow fire into them, and so does Stewie. So Stewie's pouring his arrows into these marksmen too, because yeah, if those marksmen do manage to reach the huntsmen of Thargelion, that's not going to be pretty. Even if they get limited down to about 10 elves, that's still going to be nasty. Those two-handed swords are not going to be easy for these spearmen to best. 25 now, down to 23. So yeah, we're inflicting some heavy casualties on them. Am I opening up? Yeah, you can see I'm opening up with my crossbows as well. Let's see what you guys have in store for them. Only 47 now, and we still do have 2 banner carriers, so just 45 shooters. Marksman, we're at 19. You can see that's pretty smart from Gervais. He's tucked himself in behind this little hill. It's not much, but it's something, just providing him a little bit of cover. Because as I say, I really want this little unit wiped out so that we can move up here and get some shots on the back of that elven line. And over here, yep, this rearguard action has actually been supported. They've seen that they're inflicting some good casualties with these last stand actions, so why not? Yeah, you assist wherever you're going to do some more damage. So they've come forward here, the last surviving wardens from Gervais, arriving, try and do some work. There are actually footmen of Hemring. We totally missed those guys. With the armor upgrade, they will be more than capable dealing with some of these mid-tier elven forces. I keep saying that they have received an armor upgrade. I'm pretty sure they have, but I'm not 100% certain. So it might not be the case. Either way, they are slicing on it. Love the little feathers on the helmets, of course. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Warriors of Region back here, not hiding, but just holding for now. Last Danin waiting, luckily out of ammunition now, thank goodness. With the last stand being set up on the in the centre sort of Hillfort, or centre hill of the settlement. Tribesmen quite enjoying that fight now. You can see the marksmen have actually made it into the huntsmen, but being so badly outnumbered, it's now just one left up against those jabbing spears, or swinging spears as the case may be for that guy. I'm trying to run my my arbalists past him. Can't really wait any longer. We need to get our crossbows into these guys. The last Danin have spotted us though, so I'm not really too keen for that. So I want you to start firing in. Unfortunately, myself and Stewie, we sort of mixed it up with each other there, but luckily Stewie moves on over to give me a little bit of support. But the funny thing was, where is he? Yeah, you're still seeing there is one marksman remaining that these guys are going to have to deal with. He's more than happy to fight it out for the last of his time on this earth. We did see some catapult fire into, again, more of Tundra's forces coming pushing through. So this is again more javelins and a lot of these heavy Falx forces. Not those little Falx and shield boys, no sir. These are the brutal two-handed Falx boys, two-handed Falxmen that will do a tremendous deal of damage, especially on the charge. Crossbow fire there, coming pretty close range, but just up and over into the last Danin. Just kind of relying on the huntsmen to hold the line while they do that, so that I can try to get, as I say, these close range shots. At this point, all I've got left are these arbalists, maybe a surviving scourge. Yep, you're seeing 9 surviving scourges, and the thralls who have decided to just run away. Good on them, good on them. But they come back, don't worry, they come back. Those thralls are going to be going away and coming back a few times with their low morale and heavy damage. But usually if a unit does, these low morale units, usually when they do rout, it's quite common you'll see them come back from those routes. when you've got this very high morale unit, by the time it finally gets broken and it does rout, it's a goner. Because it's down to like 5 guys at that point. But yeah, getting my crossbow bolts in there. Unfortunately, yeah, coming either into the front or the left side of these Lastanin, but kind of just have to do some sort of damage to them. Can't let them just grind away at the marksman. But they really are the only thing keeping my crossbows alive, so I decide to heroically leave them to fight. Because I perceived that that position was going to be falling, so I got them out of there. And opened up a space. That was why I did it. I wanted to open up a space for these Ravagers. I also wanted to give a few little slices to this Marksman, who is continuing his heroic 1v1 up against this one remaining Huntsman of Thargelion. I thought about giving a little bit of a hand there, but no, I decided against it. Come on, dude. I don't actually know how this ends. That Marksman could wipe him out with one good swing. Oh yeah, I think because they stopped fighting each other. They just stared at each other for a while. It was just this like mutual respect that the boys had. So like mid-fight, they just decided, no, okay, let's just have a breather and chill out for a second, and then we'll finish wiping each other out. Good little catapult blast there, right into the middle of the Eastron Marauders. You know, not anything too drastic, but at this point, yeah, we are relying on our mass numbers. So we need that. We need this swarm, and anything that is lessening that swarm is a bad thing for us. Finally got a break. I don't know if I've got any Scourges left. I think maybe 2 or 3 or something like that, maybe 5. But yeah, trying to barrel on up. Not really wanting the enemy to set up another defensive line or support this. Get that blocked up so that we can then send some stuff down over here. We actually saw some Auturn. I saw Auturn. There's still 23 Auturn standing by, or well, engaging right now, not really standing by. Eastron Tribesmen getting around the back of the Bladesmen, hopefully getting these guys broken, these Elves, just get them busted up, get them running, so that then we can push on through with our full force, not really having to worry about anything coming in from behind. Something we will have to worry about, though, are those warriors who are hiding. They are hiding somewhere there. Gervais has found a nice little spot in the trees, it seems, to get them tucked in. My Thralls are back. Still got 126 of them. And you can see... I thought those Ravagers actually came on over. But no, they decided to come in for a backstab there. I was chuffed to bits with those Huntsmen of Thargelion. They were still sticking around at 12 men. These two still more than happy to just stare each other down. Not really wanting to engage. But yeah, wearing down the Lastanin enough for the Ravagers to hopefully come in and just swipe them out. Easy peasy with a charge. Got my Arbalists here. I actually, yeah, I was wanting vengeance against those Lasdanin, so I fired off a few shots at them before turning my attention to this main attack. So over here, Eastron Marauders committing to the grind once more up against these Marksmen of Rhegion. We've seen just how good those Marksmen of Rhegion can be. How good those Marksmen of Rhegion can be in a long sort of melee duel like this. And the likes of the Eastron Tribesmen will be quite a nice unit for them to just grind through with that high skill, that two-handed sword. They should be quite defensive, quite able to look after themselves. Ravagers, that'll be a bit of a different story for them. Oh, I like that some of them do have those like golden face masks. They are quite a nice style to them. The boys of Ulfang. The heroic thralls, shaken, not in combat, but shaken. They're constantly, it's a constant state of being for these poor boys. Yeah, all they've got left is just a handful of fellow orcs to keep them in check. Over here, this position secured. Nothing down here. Yeah, no sight of those warriors, but they are still lurking. And that's wiped out. So, from our current perspective, all we've got to do is break through this last line now. The Auturn getting in there again up against the Rangers. That'll be a nice fight for them. They are fully exhausted now, but in Medieval 2, it's going to take a long time for you to get your energy back. They'd be having to sit there for a good sort of 10 minutes, and that's not really something we can afford. We've got to get the Auturn in there. So, sallying forth, or charging forth, not really. They are grinding through these rangers quite nicely, getting backed up by some footmen of Hemmering. This would be absolutely devastating if that catapult ended up getting a shot on them. I'm not seeing any scourges. I think all of my scourges actually died in that last fight. I do, however, still have my crossbows, and they can be just as devastating, just as damaging. Trying to pick my targets well with these guys. Not got too much in the way to micro right now, so I was going for the Sons of Hurin, because again, unshielded. But anything that I can, you know, any shot I'll be quite happy with, as long as I'm not getting any friendly fire and my bolts are hitting for the most part. I was happy. We were quite happy with that. That was actually quite a few shots of friendly fire, and those guys are 2 hit point boys, 2 hit point bodyguards that he was just sort of burning through. So I think that kind of caused Panthan a bit of a worry there with his catapult. Something that, yeah, so I'm not really good with catapults at the best of times. But yeah, you can see in Silm we do have 4 units. 4, there we go. I've got my, I originally just held up 3 fingers in my hands. See it. Oh no, Scourges are still around, coming in alongside these Feanor Elves, trying to go toe to toe with those Mablung. Get some justice for the Orcs on our front line. Oh no, the Huntsman, getting charged there. I mean, yeah, the Mablung really do, they see the true threat. And one of them actually got bloodied there. Very nice. Good on you, Huntsman. And fought to the last man too. Didn't end up routing. So yeah, sorry, where was I? Yeah, there's 4 units, 4 artillery pieces per artillery unit, which does make them a little bit tricky to sort of maneuver in settlements. But 3 units of artillery can still be just as tricky. So Panthan's doing a pretty decent job at just making sure that they're, you know, able to get these shots off. Still got my crossbows active. Blasting up and over into the Mablung. Again, trying to limit friendly fire. The O-turn bolting, that is the last of Feanor off the field. Which, that's definitely a worrying thing for us. Those are our finest forces that we've got on the attack here. Tribesmen coming rushing forward there. Axes flying over from the Eastron Marauders. The Cuthalam's still standing there, a unit that, as I say, I should have gotten rinsed long ago. My Thralls coming forward now. Down, as I say, 124 men, still a very large unit, shaken straight off the bat, but they're just not getting their, that morale back, it seems. I'm just needing to provide a bit of numbers, take some hits, because at least these Eastron, and especially the Ravagers of Hemmering, you know, they can do a bit of damage with those swings, whereas my Thralls definitely can't. So if my Thralls can just make their way forward and just take a heavy Sons of Hurin axe, and just get hacked open, not really a problem. I'd rather they do that and leave some of these strong men alive. Arbalists here, still got a lot of choice, if that's them running already, dearie me. Perhaps causing a little bit of a morale issue for my boys. That's definitely going to cause a bit of a morale issue for my boys, as my Iron Shroud Arbalists got blasted and being routed off now. And again, because my Thralls were routing at the same time, that's them goners. That's my entire army now routing off the field. I actually need to look into it. I don't know, even if, say, those Thralls would have come back, because I think those Thralls might have returned from routing, given time. Since there was no other active unit in my army, do they have the ability, or are they just gone? And you can see, in true Gervais fashion, no mercy is going to be shown to my Thralls or my crossbowmen. These warriors of Region that have been hiding there have come out just to slay whatever poor defenseless routing orc tries to get past them, alongside these routing Eastron. Nope, the tribesmen are smart enough, they see the warriors up front, they're getting out of there, but no, the Thralls are just trying to get away. Over the Eastron foragers trying to get their javelins in, as we just throw everything we can. I say right now I'm gone, Stewie's gone, so it's down to Tundras with his hordes of Eastron boys and their javelins and axes. So over here we do have the tribesmen running on forward, a nice beefy unit, 202 of them. As I say, those warriors just slicing and dicing happily through my Thralls of Angband. Don't know if any of my some of the Arbalists just did make it out. But no, just absolutely rinsing my boys there. But these tribesmen will take vengeance for me. 202 of them, as I say, outnumbering the warriors of Rhegion almost 4-1. But those are still some decent quality elves. Hopefully the elves do not get a countercharge against them. They actually... Oh, Gervais doesn't want to take that fight. He is running for a minute. But you can see, so this magnificent charge here is 63 before contact. Okay, down to 59. So again, you're never going to get anything too dramatic from an infantry charge, but that was quite nasty. For quite a cheap unit, being able to sort of do that sort of burst damage to these units is quite good. And yeah, given time, these tribesmen, you know, might be able to wear these warriors down. Very fragile, of course, the tribesmen, but quite a nice counter to the heavy axes of the warriors of Rhegion, not really relying on any armor value. A lot of these Eastron forces are all actually on 0 armor, maybe 1 now and again. But I say a lot of them, those Eastron tribesmen can receive an armor upgrade, so they can get jumped up to 2. But as standard, I believe they have 0 armor. First time I was playing as the Easterlings of Ulfang, or the House of Ulfang. That's what they're called, right? Yeah, the Houses of Ulfang. First time I was playing as them, I maxed out the armor for my Eastron tribesmen. So gave them 2 armor, which was just 1 armor upgrade, of course. So I just gave them 2 armor, just to provide them a little bit more staying power. So I don't know if Tundris has done that for any of his boys, or if he's just gone flat 0 armor across the board. So you see here, just vastly outnumbering the Mablung. Yes, they are pretty stubborn. Oh dear. Oh, that's where the general was. Ah, okay. That must have just been a captain that we had seen before. So that's why this unit was quite nice and safe and healthy, because it was guarding the general. But yeah, getting some slices into those warriors of Rhegion here. Ah, okay, cool, because they wanted to rush off and deal with the foragers. But I don't know, if these 2 units sort of work together, should be able to deal with that. Routing footmen of Hemring, trying to get out of this settlement. Over here, the Despoilers, one of sort of the finest unit that Tundris has brought to the field today, trying to break in through these Sons of Hurin and the Erimo. It's nasty. It's nasty, to be sure. But they're trying for it. Eastron Foragers alongside them and Ravagers of Hemring to just try to do what they can there. As we hold that slope. Of course, the enemy getting the height advantage against us. Those warriors down to 33 now. As the foragers pull back, trying to get some javelins into those elves. Just trying to wipe out, because if we can deal with this unit of warriors, then they can at least sort of form a front line there. Try and get some javelins into the charging elves, the charging elite from the slope there. But again, it's just kind of the little victories at this point, seeing what we can do, seeing if there's any more damage that we can inflict on the elves, just out of sheer malice. Getting very close with this javelin volley. Again, Tundris is probably happy enough if those warriors want to go and attack the foragers, that's okay, because then the Eastron tribesmen can just set up nicely and charge them back. But hopefully we can just keep pouring javelins into these warriors. Down to 19 now though, and again we've seen that great morale from Doriath. I really do like the Doriath forces. I love their aesthetic. I love their general units and everything. They're a great army to have, and good for sieges, I feel, as well. Not just field battles. I think they've got a lot of tools to make them very impressive in a siege. The only thing they were lacking is a pike unit, but they have damn good quality spearmen, good archers, even some javelins to sort of make up for that as well, and some decent numbers. Not mass numbers, of course, decent numbers and decent armor. So they're just all around. I think Doriath is a very sort of decent little all around faction. Maybe they do have a little lancer, too. So it's quite nice. It's a lancer, isn't it? Yeah. Well, no, it's a lancer with anti-cavalry ability too. Or no, it's not. It doesn't have anti-cav. Anyway, sorry, distracted. The Donath forces, or so the Mablung forces, pushing down. As I say, the only fighters that we have left now are these guys. They have managed to, or they will, hopefully manage to soon slay those 6 guys. But these elites rushing on forward try and stop them from doing so. getting some javelins into them as they charge in. Maybe the Sons of Hurin will be the target, but either way, I think I just want to get as many javelins spent as I could. Wouldn't be too picky as to who they're going for. Yep. Oh, the Sons of Hurin and the Mablung taking that. The unshielded unit, of course, being the best one to go for. More javelins coming in. Try and just slay these elite elves. Just try to give them whatever punishment we possibly can. As those Eastron tribes would actually run, dearie me. Leaving behind the remaining 6 warriors of Reikian as we have this final stand. So anyway, yeah, so that was my first Silmarillion siege. My first loss on the new Silmarillion patch as well. I was undefeated up to that point, so that was devastating for me. But either way, no, it was a heck of a lot of fun. I think, I don't know. I'd say I got really cocky. I got really cocky during that fight. I don't want to. I'm not wanting to sit and making excuses, but yeah, I got really cocky and kind of let my thralls maybe fire away a bit willy nilly. But I mean, even then, you can see this was where my damage was done. The Arbalists still had a bit of ammo, but I'd actually used up most of their ammo, so I was expecting some more kills from them. Poor Wretch is just getting rattled, but they did their purpose. Especially 47 kills from a Wretch is pretty damn good. Bulldogs, oh man, I wish I had avoided that point blank volley. I know it hit them in the face, they got their shields up, but my goodness me, that was rough. Spear Guard, Tormentors, I should have been way more aggressive with them. I actually tried to like break through the flanks or break through the middle of these formations, not just grind it away. I'd say I just kind of used them as like grinding units, and that's not, they can do that usually, but just nah, it's not what they're for. Poor Legionnaires, just getting rinsed. Scourges, I actually really, yeah, the Scourges did some great work. I'm definitely going to be bringing them to sieges. Or, like, field battles as well. As long as they don't get shot up, they'll be doing some great work. Ravagers, yeah, trying their best too. Quite surprised with that unit of Halberds, but I think that was the unit of Halberds I had sent over on the side. Went up against the enemy phalanx, and I think I just let them get shot to pieces. So I probably should have, looking back, I should have kept my halberd with me here and used the second unit halberds maybe on that little slope up there. Would have been a good idea. I think they could have gotten a lot more work done there, where they weren't fighting other phalanxes. And then the thralls, oh, the troll guard, yeah, one of those troll guard, just, I was a bit silly with them, got them sent in, like, totally unsupported. So they just got absolutely blitzed. I really think the trolls need to be fighting side by side with other boys. Thralls, oh, yeah, chuffed to bits. You know, I don't know if you can take 3 without going to the red limit, maybe you can. But yeah, and I absolutely just love how many boys Tundra's brought. Almost 3,500 of the Eastron boys. And you see just how much we outnumbered the defenders, jeepers sake. Yeah. So it was good. No, and as I say, that was one of Panthan. Panthan hadn't actually done too many siege defenses at that point. So it was great to see him. And of course, when you're working alongside Gervais, you know, man will give you some good pointers. So he's a bit of a wild boy, but he'll keep you right. So Panthan just sort of listened to his instruction, well, listened to his guidance, and it worked out great. So yeah, cool. Thank you guys very much, and I will see you later.